Hello, everyone. I have a few questions for all of you. Are you solely focused on creating your products or services, or do you also emphasize on effectively communicating what they stand for? Moreover, do you believe that you may potentially gain a competitive edge by doing so? We have our budding leaders here who have tried applying concepts of marketing communications to their respective companies. So, without any further ado I would request our leaders to introduce themselves one by one. Who would look like to go in and introduce themselves?
Can I go
Uh,
first? Okay. Hi, I am Isha. I am a content writer at Pradwa and I am from Team Tutor Match.
Who would like to go in next?
Hi, Hinglaj here. I'm working as a growth hacker and DT.
Hi everyone, I'm Artua. I'm currently a marketer at DeepThought.
Hello everyone, I'm Rishabh and I work at DeepThought and currently I'm revolutionizing the way of automation in DeepThought.
All right, who would like to go in next?
Yeah, hi, I'm Mohit. I'm working here at DeepThought as a hosted developer, and I'm also a leader in development.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Mitali, and I'm currently working at DeepThought as a psychologist, and I try to help people fulfill their needs so that they can have a rapid transformation.
Right. I would request the co-mods to introduce themselves as well.
Hi everybody. I'm Samida. I'm a psychologist at DeepThought, and I also try to help people think on their psychology problems, and instead of seeing them as needs, we try to make them reflect and grow as leaders.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Purnima. I am a software developer at DeepThought working on really innovative technologies and here as a co-mod today.
Hi everyone, I'm Riddhi. I am working in the delivery team for Deep Thought, helping teams to achieve their weekly KPIs. All right. So, which team would like to go in and pitch first?
I think Team ConnectWiz can take that.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Give a reason behind your name.
Okay. So we have bought in a product which is revolutionizing the way of automation for sales team, and it helps in connecting with prospects. So hence, the connect for connection with prospects and wizard for making the magic work.
That's an interesting name. Would you like to pitch?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a second. Hello everyone. This is Rishabh, and I'm representing ConnectWiz, and we're moving forward with the presentation. Mitali, could you please take over?
Yeah. So the tagline for our product is effortless integration, unlimited maximization by automating the process of lead generation and making the experience seamless. So the story of our product is that we have an AI bot which will help bridge the gap between prospecting and closing prospecting and closing ratio by automating the process of generating and reaching out to leads on a scale. So over to you, Risha.
Yeah, I can take that. Okay. Yeah. So thank you, Mitali. Yeah. So so I will be explaining some of the communication strategies that we will be using, right? So one of them is word of mouth marketing, right? So we believe in the power of word of mouth marketing, right? By providing free trials to some selected businesses, and some friends, right? We allow them to experience the true magic of ConnectWiz. During the trial period, we make sure that users experience nothing but positive experiences, right? And they naturally share the benefits they have experienced with their colleagues, partners, and on social media platforms, right? And as we all know, right, nothing speaks louder than success stories, right? So these stories that we capture through these trial periods, right? We try to share these stories, and we highlight the tangible impact of ConnectWiz, on the bottom line, right? So we share them through vlogs, social media, newsletters, right? And we proudly share these stories to motivate, other businesses to use our product. Next slide, please. Yeah. Other thing that we can do is to, take some workshops and webinars, right? So that will basically equip sales professionals with knowledge and tools to optimize lead generation with ConnectWiz, right? We our experts demonstrate how ConnectWiz sales saves a valuable time and helps businesses increase revenue effortlessly, right? uh, so we can also incorporate some real life case studies that we capture through our trial periods and stuff. So yeah, thank you. I hand over to Risha.
Okay. So the next communication strategy that we are using is basically utilization of social media, where our bot is already doing the half work, that is, it's reaching out to the prospects while extracting data. So moving forward, what happens is once we get a reply back from the prospect, we as humans, we take over and we move to the closing part. So to conclude this, by implementing automation, we can accelerate the sales process with which we are going to get improved results within the sales process while while reducing the human effort in the process. That's about it for our team. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for pitching in. Would the other team like to go in with their questions?
Sure. So you guys are depending on word of mouth as a big marketing channel. How are you making sure it spreads? I mean, there are good products that people use and then they forget. How are you relying so much on word of mouth, and why?
Mohit, would you like to take this question up?
Yeah. So basically, we provide some small businesses, right, who cannot afford big sales teams, right, to increase their or scale their lead generations, right? So while doing so in the trial periods, right, we try to uh, provide the most seamless experience, right? So if they realize the value that we provide, right, I think it's organically the word of mouth, that chain goes on.
How much does that affect marketing? I mean, what is the percentage a percentage of users that you would gain through this channel?
Okay. So I mean, see, it's a very initial stage thing, right? So I think mostly the businesses who are still planning to scale their sales perspectives, I think we are mainly targeting them in the initial phases.
Is it only for small businesses, or are you thinking of acquiring larger business at some point?
Yeah, for the initial stage, it's not just about small businesses, but for initial stage, right? Because if they see the value, right, that story, when we tell, right, it shows that impact.
What is the story you're telling for word of mouth marketing?
Mm.
Can I take that, Mohit?
Yeah, Rishabh.
So in order for us to tell a story to the clients, right? So the product is as such, it's it's good that, it can market itself. Meaning today it is delivering values where it is increasing the sales and the revenue of an organization by eliminating a whole sales process, which actually saves up a lot of money. Now, given if a business owner is seeing that there is money being saved, right? I think that could be the kind of story which we would want to move around with, wherein we are saving on a lot of time and a lot of cash for the revenue for the organization.
So let's say I'm just focusing on one channel of your marketing and just doing follows. So let's say it's word of mouth, but largely on word of mouth, you do not have a control, right? Because you don't know who is speaking to whom. You don't have access to that channel. So how are you making sure it reaches the right person? And while connecting with bigger brands, how is word of mouth helping? Because bigger brands won't get with the community of, let's say, smaller stuff.
Okay. So word of mouth marketing is basically an organic way of marketing, wherein we are not even involved in the process, right? So we don't have a control over as to who's going to be a prospect. But yes, today, if someone finds our product to be valuable, he would definitely reach out, meaning it would be a prospect for us. So there is no definitive way of, selecting prospect for us, like a specific prospect from a specific industry, because our product, it revolves around multiple industries.
So that's sort of the point that Artuha is putting up, right? When how are you controlling the kind of perception it is creating when it's targeting different industries and you don't have a specific way to like control
How are
that
you
kind of
dealing with the uncertainty?
I think Mohit would want to answer that. So, yes, Mohit.
Yeah. So as we are conducting, we will be conducting some these introductions to these products, right? Before giving them the free trials and that thing. So during that, as this is a free event, right? And the usage is free for the product, right? So there we can have some maybe some drills to motivate them to post some content or some maybe posts regarding this event on their particular social media platforms, right? So I think they won't mind doing it, because as we are also providing them this service.
So it's a free trial, right? They're not your users yet. How are you depending on user generated content if they're not users at all?
Okay, so see, as they are posting content, right? So that gives us uh, some popularity amongst their particular circle, right? Then when they eventually use it, then they eventually find the value behind the product. When then maybe some of the people ask them about the products, right? And then when they talk about it, they eventually they have that recall, right? Because they may post some content during the event also, right?
How would you make them post the content? They're not your users yet during the event.
Yeah, so during the event, it's like uh, there's no force, right? But still, it's like a drill. If they would want to do it, they can do it.
Okay,
But that
Mohit, I
again
think
brings in the
first question is like, how would you nudge them to post your content, because it's free trial, so there is nothing in there, right, for them. So how will you nudge those people to post your content?
so you're depending on word of mouth for to tackle that uncertainty. You're bringing user generated content, but they're not users, which means you cannot. Some way you'll have to nudge them to for their free will to create that content in the social
Okay,
media.
so there what we can do is basically we can in the trial period, right? Maybe we can have some limits to the features that we are giving, right? And we can unlock that features if they post some content, right? So that maybe can be a nudge for them to post some content.
So, like you are saying, you are inviting companies to your
Hmm.
event, right? For the
Yeah.
word of mouth. So, like, who are you basically focusing on for the word of mouth? The CEOs, the founders, the marketeers?
Uh, For that, we are basically focusing on the business owners that becomes the CEOs and the founders of the company. Yeah.
But
And
why?
also we are not nudging them to post content on the social media platform 100%. That's their choice. That's their choice. What we actually want to do while using word of mouth is gain access to their network.
But okay, I have a follow-up question regarding that. That why they will share their strategy with another business person?
They won't share it with another business person, but when we are considering network, it also includes a family tree, a relationship with a friend, or a friend whom you know I want to, let's say I'm a CEO and I want my friend also to succeed because this process is working out for me. Why shouldn't it work out for him?
Okay, so like another follow-up question, like you are not doing marketing for your marketing product.
We
You
are
are only
conducting the
basically
event.
focusing on word of mouth.
That's one of our communication strategies.
I mean, how would you access to that? Like you're saying that you would get access to networks through word of mouth, but how would you get access if you don't know who's actually hearing about your product? Why would
Organic.
they
So
reach out to you
the
instead of you
people,
reaching out to them?
the people whom we are connecting with, right? They're business owners. And today, every business owners is interested in one thing, that is networking. So the whole fundamental of doing this free event and also helping them use the product for free for a while, right? It helps them and gives them the motivation, and it also helps them understand if the product is actually working out or not for them.
Sorry to interrupt. I have a question. Can
Yeah.
I go?
Just one.
Wait, is
I
that a
have a
follow-up,
follow-up.
Aisha? Because like unless it's a follow-up, we can just continue that line, right?
No, it's not follow-up exactly.
Okay, so maybe Artuha can go ahead and then
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So how would you get access to these people to come to your seminar? How much let's say word of mouth covers 30% of your marketing or 30% of how many people you're connecting with. So 30% of total 100% would come to your event. But is that a success then? Is that percentage a success for you?
Could you come again, Artwa?
Okay. So word of mouth is one of your marketing channels, and you want to get CEOs and business owners through word of mouth to your seminars. So let's say 30% of your marketing is covered in word of mouth. So that means 30% of total 100% CEOs are attending your event. Is that a success for you?
Well, the whole goal is to at least get in like 10 to 15 people for the whole event, right? And then access their personal network. So yeah, 30% will be a success rate for me.
Right, and we have we have also we can also plan to have some workshops and webinars, right, which will be having a little bit more scopes, not just business owners or CEOs. They can have people from sales teams, right, and who are working with uh, fields related to sales, right. So that can have more scope.
How would you get those people to your seminars?
Okay.
We have two options over there.
Mm-hmm.
One is we use our own personal network to get in the people for our first event. And the second one would be the bot we have with us.
That's your product. How is that your marketing channel?
It also helps us reach out to a lot of people, right? That's the whole point. Yeah.
Is there any social media campaigns you're planning to get people to your seminar?
Yeah, so suppose if we do this event, right, the first event, right, from that we get some stories, right? Through that stories, we run some social media campaigns, right?
I'm sorry, where would you get the stories from? I didn't quite get you.
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, please.
Can
Please
I
go ahead.
take
Go
that?
ahead. Yeah, Mitali, go ahead, please.
Okay, the stories, the trials that we are going to be conducting. So if the product works out for them, we are going to take our testimonies, and then from that we'll be generating stories.
So you would get testimonials after trial periods, is it?
Yes.
let's say it's a first launch of your event where you're conducting a seminar, you don't have any user yet. How would you approach them?
You mentioned we don't have a user yet.
Yeah, it's your first event, like a launch event or a launch seminar. But you want to get user in the seminar, at least let's say 10% of whoever comes is your target. How would you approach them? You don't have any stories.
Exactly. For that, I told earlier as well that we'll be reaching out to our personal network.
How much of that you're expecting to come? Like how much of that, like let's say 10, 15, what is the percentage you're expecting or the outcome that you're expecting of it?
The show up rate, are you asking?
Yeah, the show up rate.
Of course, it's gonna be more than 50%.
How?
How is because we are like I told you, we are in personal network, right? We are constantly talking, and yeah, we know each other. So definitely for relationship's sake, even if he's not
How are
interested
you
in the
making
product,
sure that 50% would show up? What is your strategy to make sure that 50% you have a network, but not everyone in your company has a network? How are you making sure 50% of everyone's network show up?
a follow-up, which can be initiated with the bot itself.
Sure, I understand, but is there any form of content, any form of marketing that you're doing? Follow-ups would lead to, let's say, 10, 15% of them coming. But if you want the chance as high as 50%, how are you making sure that happens? Yeah, Mohit, you can go ahead.
Yeah. So assuming it's like the first launch event, right? So maybe we can have some early bird incentives, right? To nudge them to attend the events, right? And to get the leads. So, okay, one of the things is basically the friends and families, right? We can invite, right? And we can also take help of social media about spreading the news about this incentive that we have for the event, attending the event.
Okay, but sort of a follow-up, right? Why would anybody care to join the event?
Also, what is the incentive you're using?
Yeah, for the incentive part, let's say I come and tell you as a CEO of WizConnect of ConnectWiz that please attend my event. I'm going to give you 300 to 400 good leads. That's going to be the incentive.
I think Aisha had a question. Aisha, would you like to go in with your question?
Yeah. How would you differentiate yourself from your customers? I mean, sorry, competitors, and how would you communicate that differentiator to the customers?
Okay, so if I'm getting the question right, it is how are we differentiating ourselves from our competitors? So
And
yeah,
there are two
And how
questions.
will you
How
communicate
would you
it to
communicate
them?
that? Yeah.
communicate to the competitors.
No, to the
How you will
customers.
communicate your
So
USP to
how do you stand apart from your competitors? Is the question, right?
Yeah, and there are two questions. And how do you communicate that differentiation to your customers?
I have one word that is versatile. Our bot is versatile, meaning it can adapt. It can work into various industries, and that's what makes us different from our competitors. And not only that, our bot is also powered by ChatGPT's API, wherein it is also doing the reaching out
That is
process.
not everything that you're going to tell to the customers, right? You're going to have to say something specific that helps them differentiate it easily. So how are you going to do that?
Yeah, I also have a question that how would you make sure that you get perceived as versatile in the minds of your consumers? And
Okay,
Okay,
we can
guys, just one point. Let the person finish the answer, then do the follow-up. Don't throw in questions one after the other, right? So yeah, Rishabh, is your answer done, or do you want to continue?
I think my answer is done.
Okay, then Samida's follow-up, right? You can answer that.
Yeah, I was saying that doesn't technically answer Aisha's question, right? About how are you going to communicate that value in a simple way to the customer so that they can quickly make the differentiation. So how would you do that?
Okay, so as Rishabh said about versatile, right? So we can have we can arrange uh, some teaser campaigns, right? And that we can showcase some case studies about uh, the people who attended the events that we uh, arranged. In that we invite people from different industries, right? And how they use the product and it was beneficial for them.
Yeah, I have a
Does that
follow-up.
answer your, yeah?
How would that ensure versatility?
Because the people using the products are from different industries, right?
Okay, so what if it gets perceived as something else and not versatile?
Uh, Aisha, before he answers it, what do you mean by something else?
Okay, what if it gets perceived as personalized or customized or something else?
That's the perspective we actually want to build with this product.
Let's say your product is perceived as completely something else. How would you reposition your brand as whatever you want to reposition as?
Sorry, I'm saying, let's take that situation that your brand or your somebody tried out your Autobot and it turned out to be perceived as rigid, like it's not able to make the adjustments that the person wants you to make. So in that situation, how are you going to it got perceived as rigid instead of versatile? So how will you make sure that you can deal with that kind of a situation? How do you still convey that message of it being versatile?
So in order to do that, like it's more of the technical aspect wherein if the program is not working out for you, the program can be changed. The whole iteration can be changed. So that makes the product versatile, meaning if the product is not working for you, we can make it work for you.
But how would you communicate that to your customers?
uh, Through some customer support team.
How will that customer support team make sure that you're able to communicate that there is versatility? Is your customer support equipped to manage a customer when they are seeing your brand positioning turned out to be different than what they had expected?
Yeah, so that's why we had workshops and webinars in the first.
But that's set an expectation, right? So when that expectation is challenged because they don't see it as versatile, what will you do in that situation? How will the customer service help there? Yeah, Rishabh.
So like when Mohit, I just want to add to Mohit. Let's say we are showcasing a presentation wherein we are coming in with a pitch deck which has all the information, and it also moves around a story where it comes across as if the bot doesn't work, we are basically showcasing that if the bot doesn't work, there can be alterations and there can be some changes done which can improve the process. Even if it is not working out for them, it can be made to work for them.
That makes sense, right, for the initial impression. But once they change that impression, then how are you going to deal with it? This is what you're saying, that's in the introductory seminars and all, right? But now the expectation of the customer has changed. Would anybody from the team, like other than Rishabh, also like to add their views?
Maybe we can have maybe we can arrange some campaigns taking the case study of these situations where the expectations are not met, right? And we can have uh, some content, maybe video content showcasing how the program works, right? So basically to educate the uh,
How would that solve the problem of a changed perception? You are just educating, right? It's again that education thing. What about the change part?
okay, so if they get to know more about the program and how it works, so basically they get to understand, right? uh,
Okay, let's frame it this way, that
Mhm.
a person comes to you and says, I expected this robot to be versatile, but it turned out to not be. It's rigid and I'm not able to make the changes. So then in that specific situation, how will you convey to them that it is versatile?
Um, that's exactly, Samida, we are conveying right from the first time they're introduced to the model.
So
We give
you're
a
going
pitch
to
deck.
say from the first time that there is a possibility that there will be rigidity.
There could be, but then there is also a solution for that, which is a programmable fix. And that's the
Okay.
technical side that I'm trying to explain.
Okay, so if somebody is saying, if you tell them that there is a possibility that it might go rigid, and then you'll have to again come to us for reprogramming. So in that situation, how will you ensure that the person doesn't get discouraged to use your product?
Is this thing is going to be communicated in the the first seminar?
It's going to be there's going to be a pitch deck which is going to be showcased, which has all the information right from the technicalities of the product to what the adjustments are going to be made. And let's say if the product fails, what is the
Sure,
kind
that
of fail
that
safe.
makes sense, Rishabh. We got the thing. You have to tell the entire story of it, right, and all the perspectives. But if there are certain things like the problems that a person will face, or some technicalities they have to go through, because just because they're using the product. So how do you ensure that they're ready to go through those technicalities? How do you ensure that they still want to go ahead with the product, even if there are some discouragements in the way?
Okay. So with the product being sold, there also comes a part where training and development takes place, wherein our team goes, trains their sales team on how to use the product and also how to make changes in the product. And let's say while they are making changes, they kind of get some error, or they fail to make a change. That's when they can reach our customer service, and from there we can resolve this issue.
Okay. Yeah, Mitali.
Yeah, I was just going to say that in the seminars that we were going to conduct, there also we can show a demo of how the product is going to work. So, like later, they will not face any technical glitch at least.
Okay. There's still that possibility, right? That the person might think it's too much of an effort. So how, again, it's something to think about, right? How are you going to make sure that the person doesn't see that technical error or going back to you for customer service as too much of effort? So yeah, again, that's something to think of. But yeah, Riddhi, you can go ahead.
Yeah. Right. So I'm sorry, we'll have to stop this discussion right now because of the time constraints. So, indeed a good discussion, but I would request the second team to first explain the reason behind their name and then go in with their pitch. Maybe a one sentence of why you chose your name. Who would like to go in?
Sure, I can go. So the name Tutor Match is very extremely connected with the brand idea that we are going with. It's connecting tutors to students all over India. It's like a platform for connection. That's why.
Okay.
It's our brand name as well as team name. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So who will be pitching in from your team?
Yeah. I would like to go first. English,
Right.
could you share the screen, please? Okay. So, hi everyone. In today's CMOSD, we have come up with a unique idea of tutor match. What is it and what is its tagline? English, next slide. So, tagline is your education, our passion. It means we're not only giving you education, but we're also connecting you with best tutors all across India. Next slide. Thank you. So we're our company or our brand is connecting tutors and students who are essentially preparing for entrance exam all over India, not only through an online platform, but also with an offline access. English, you can take over from here.
So what communicating strategies we are following with students is event hosting. We are going to give demos in school events and conduct all India competitions. We will share user generated stories as our ad campaigns, and how we are going to communicate with tutors via word of mouth and incentivization. We are going to ask tutors for recordings for the classes and to promote on social medias, and reach how we are going to reach out to the tutors who are in remote areas. We are going to ask their details via the printers or local information areas. We'll able to get them. Off to you, Aisha.
The third strategy we are going to adopt is referral programs. We'd be we'd be communicating students that if they refer our platform to their friends or their peers, they would be incentivized. And we'd also tell the tutors that if they bring in more tutors or recommend our platform to more tutors, they'll also get some sort of incentive. Next slide. So we give freedom for students to choose their tutors by giving personalized services because every student matters. Thank you.
All right. I see a lot of questioning already. So, yeah, Samida, because you raised your hand first, would you like to go in with your question?
Yeah, sorry. The question, how are you guys going to convince the teachers to like partner up with your company exactly?
Okay, we'd be primarily focusing on teachers who are just starting off, and we'll be saying that, and we'll be primarily focusing on the teachers who have just started off and are conducting offline classes. We would say that by uh, going online on our platform, you would be able to reach to a wider audience, and you would also be able to earn more by doing so.
But okay, counter question, if they are starting out as new teachers, why would the children be interested in having sessions with them? They don't have a lot of credibility yet, right?
Yeah, for that we would provide 1 week free trial to make sure 1 week free trial through our online videos to convince the students that the teachers are credible enough.
Samida, does that answer your question?
Yeah, okay. But what if like when there are trial sessions happening and like a lot of times some student is trying out a trial session and they don't think that the teacher is well enough for them. So and they have to like keep trying again and again take out their time for trial sessions. So they might get discouraged. So how would you deal in a situation like that?
So the trial session ensures that you do not only have access to one teacher, but you have access to various teachers. You can take 2, 3 classes if you want. 3 classes are available. The 3 classes can be any tutor you like. If you don't like one tutor, you can shift to another one if you want. So for now, we want to tackle it like that.
Okay, but there's still that question, right? If they think that it's taking a lot of time for them to again and again try out different teachers, still they don't feel satisfied. So won't that be discouraging for students in general? If they're also referring to word of mouth, they might say, okay, this is a good idea, but it takes a lot of time because you have to go through multiple trials.
No, the trial is the same. So let's say you take a class throughout the week, you take a class and you feel, okay, this teacher is not good. I don't like him. I want to shift to someone else. You go at that moment, shift to someone else. So you can either
Again,
way you have to take 3 classes, right? A week for the trial session. So you can take 3 classes for multiple people and choose whoever you want.
okay.
And previously we are going to have some demo sessions, so from that demo sessions also they can through a funnel that what they want in a teacher, they can funnel out and then move to a trial session.
Exactly. Personal persona filling form. So
Makes sense. Thank you.
Mitali, I think you had a question there.
That got answered in the
Okay.
thread.
Rishabh, would you like to go in with your?
So I guess it was Hinglaj. Hinglaj, you mentioned Hinglaj or someone from the team. You guys mentioned that you're going to connect best tutors. How are you assessing the best tutor? And yeah.
So we would have a selection process for tutors, and after we assess them, let's say on a rating basis, we'll connect them to students as per their requirements. Just like I mentioned, we'll have persona screening form for students so that they connect with the best teacher, or it's best according to them. Like best is pretty subjective, so
whoever suits them best. It's like a matchmaking service.
Okay. So like this is going to be an all India platform, right? So
Yes.
how are you guys gonna, you know, audit or
Quickly
you know,
before
assess?
we get to that,
Yeah.
Rishabh, Mohit, did you have a follow-up? Okay, yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah. How are you guys gonna assess, you know, like when you guys are connecting all India and you guys are searching for the best teacher, how do you guys plan on, you know, scanning through so many best teachers across India? Is there a plan that you guys have devised of, you know, screening or something of that sort?
So I think from the yes, Arthur, go ahead.
Ideally, they would go with, let's say, a 2 or 3 step selection process where it's not just how they teach, but it's also what their thought process is, what their mindset is, what their personalities are, and if they fit our platform the best. So it would be a 2 3 step selection process for everyone and all over India. And it would
Mm.
be possibly conducted by not us, because we might not be the best choice, but a board of directors of best teachers or whoever we have access to, who
Mhm.
knows what to.
How do you plan on convincing this board of directors to come and, you know,
So yeah.
take the interviews, because they are board of directors, they don't have time?
Yeah, so firstly, I think we would, for now, we would have the board of directors as, stuck. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, Arga, you're
Yeah. So I think for now, when we are starting off as a company, we would, the board of directors would be some teachers from a personal network. Maybe someone like we all know someone in high school who we loved as a teacher because he had amazing teaching skills, but was never in online mode. So we would assess them as a board of directors.
Is there a
Then
number that you have in your head for, you know, we need these many board of directors? Because again, it's an all India project, and assessing all teachers, like all India project, you guys have to have directors all across India for conducting interviews, right? And for that, there'll be a huge inflow of teachers, but then how are you guys managing that whole selection process?
Sure. So, initial selection process would be our database would select. So there would be, I think, initial would be assignment based. So from the assignments or whatever their initial video recording of them teaching a concept, and from that our database would select, let's say, from 100, or let's say take a guess of 1,000 best. And from that, let's say for now, I don't think we'll have 1,000 as a starting company, but we might have 100. From that, we'll select 50, out of which, let's say, 5 of our board of directors for now would take 50. But they would not, I don't think they would come in with the 50, because they would come in at the last stage where there would be interviews sessions. Other than that, our database would constantly select these students. If anyone wants to add in that from my team, please go ahead.
yeah, so that on the basis of teaching, we will have demo videos, right? So we will select like the filtration will be started from the demo videos, you know, by the teaching skills, how they are teaching and how much we are able to understand, and students can select. There can we can ask students, our data processing will be there to select which video is more responsive than others.
I think we've gone into operations a little bit. So, yeah, Mohit, would you like to go ahead with your question?
Yeah, I wanted to know. So basically, what is the values as an organization your brand have?
Can I take that? If
Yeah.
anyone wants? Yeah. So I think our values primarily are building that student-teacher relationship, where a student feels not only they're learning, but they feel comfortable with the learning and also with the teacher to ask questions and learn in a proper manner, learn in a way that fits them, which is why we are going ahead with teachers that fits them.
Okay, I have a follow up. So there may be students who may have certain challenges in learning, right? Like I don't mean learning disorders as of now, not that extent, but sometimes people they just have a little difficulties in maybe understanding the concept, or they may need a lot more examples than the rest of them. So does your teaching training, or does your, well, like, is this in mind, like to have a teacher who would focus on like including, or maybe the teacher may be equipped with different styles of learning that suit every kind of students?
Yeah, Isha, you can do that.
So for that, we are already, while the student logs in, we are already telling them to fill the persona form. So in that persona form would be including these questions. So the tutor that would be connected to them would also be able to tackle their learning problems.
Okay. Yeah.
To add on to that, we would also, on future, we plan to do some one-on-one session, or at least have a platform where a student can have personalized interaction with teachers in case they're facing a problem, to have a session with them personally.
Yeah, and
Sort of.
for the
Yeah.
yeah, and adding into that also, that we are going to have demo videos, right? And according to you, because sometimes what happen in one example, a student gets the like a student get the concept, right? And sometimes what happens, a student needs a 3 or 4 examples to understand the question. So for with the multiple demo videos, you will be able to understand that okay, which teacher is appropriate, or according to your learning skills. Then you can go ahead and select them.
Okay, I had a follow-up to the first part of it, like the values you guys mentioned it. So what are the exact keywords, or what are the exact values that you are having?
Yeah, same question.
I think it would be learning for all, and personalized learning, or customized, or learning that fits you. It's like
How is that? Yeah, okay. How is that reflected in your brand positioning?
I think we are not only positioning as, learning that fits all, but we are also positioning like it's a tutor match, that is matchmaking service. It's like a matchmaking service connecting students with teachers who fit like a puzzle, something. Yeah, Hinglaj, you can.
Uh, Sorry, I have a question. Like, is there a kind of software or an app that you will
Wait,
be
that's a
using?
little
Sorry.
different, right, Rishabh? Can we first see if we have any follow-ups?
Okay, so your tagline says your growth, our passion, right? So how is that connected to bringing teachers all over, from all over the country? Was I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. So how does that convey that particular idea, and inclusivity also? How does that convey the idea?
See, as we are saying that your education is our passion, we are trying to convey that, that see, as a student, did you had that freedom to select a teacher when you were in a school? Uh, did you had a freedom to like choose a teacher when you are in a college, or when even you are going to a tuition like online classes also? You don't have that freedom, right? You go there, you got a teacher, and you have to study with that only, study from him or her only, right? So over here, if we want to learn, if you want to get education, you can get it from the teacher who you choose. So that is what our passion is. If you will have a great teacher to teach, great teacher to to teach, you will have a great education.
Okay, I have a follow-up to that. So this idea about like having multiple choices as a teacher and trying trial and error. How are you going to communicate that idea to a parent? Because they'll be the ones who are making the final call. And again, this is going to take a lot of time, and the parent might think that it's a like ways to keep trying out different things when the child can just study by themselves. A lot of the parents have this idea, right, that the students should be self-studying, and teachers are just a way to bring up those topics.
Yeah, Isha.
So firstly, our target audience is like the students who are about to complete their school. That would be 11th and 12th standard students, the work professionals, and the graduates. Uh, so I'd like to assume that the work professionals, the decisions of the work professionals won't be influenced by their parents. So
For
and
11th and 12th won't, I mean, I think there's still a lot influenced by the parents, right? Because they'll be the ones paying the
Right.
fees.
So, like adding on to that, what channel would you, what kind of means of communication you would want to incorporate in that way that reaches to the parents? What would be your go
okay,
to channels here?
we would
As
put success stories of students who have got good ranks in this entrance exams on our social media platforms. And yeah.
And adding on to what Aisha said, we would also, if the parents are, they want to know what is going on, why is it taking, so the parents can have parent access to our website. Keeping that is a little operations. We would also want to do an all India competition that we mentioned in a slide, which would help parents understand what is it that's going on, like.
Okay,
So
follow-up question. Yeah.
yeah.
So you are establishing yourself as like somebody who can help with that competition and all those things, and you're having that presence. You're trying to build that presence that parents also feel the need to come to your organization. So how are you going to differentiate yourself from your competitors like edutech companies or coaching centers that are already doing this?
Yeah.
We
So
would not.
as we said that, like they are only providing you teachers what teachers they have, right? They are not giving that option to select.
To add, I mean, to contradict a little bit, there are certain centers that give the students the option to change depending on the kind of feedback. So again, then how would you want to differentiate, or would you
Uh,
want to?
we are not hiring the tutors, we are collaborating with the tutors. So that would be one of the differentiating factors.
How is that a differentiating factor for this, like
Like, what
choosing and
difference is it gonna make to the parents? Like,
Okay, so when the tutors are individual and they are not, like, we are not a edutech brand, we are just a platform. And we would, on a like future scale, we would want to collaborate with these big brands because they would also want students. So we want to give them just students to this edtech platforms. So they are doing the branding for us, or we are doing the branding for them, and they're just we're just we're just using them as sponsors, is what I'm saying.
all right, I think we can give all of this a little more thought, keeping the timing constraints in mind. I would like to end the dialogue here. I'm glad we've had a great dialogue. Right. I'm sorry, Rishabh.
Rishabh has
We
his okay.
we can go ahead with the reflections now, and Rishabh can take his questions on the WhatsApp groups. So, who would like to go in with their reflections first?
Yeah, Dua.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think we came with uh, one idea and we developed a lot of things impromptu, which our entire team just caught on to the impromptu actions and they went with everything that was not decided. And I think that went very swiftly, more than I expected. Like Asia Hinglage, I was just saying about the selection process and they just caught on to it and went with it. So I think my reflection would be largely around team coordination. How I understood that we have, like, how important a team coordination is in SD more than individualistic contribution. So yeah. Thank you.
Right. I personally have experienced similar, situations. So yeah. Who would like to go in next? Yeah, Hinglaj.
Yeah. So okay. So for the SD or for anything, like if you are having a team, like as Arthur, it was a huge realization for me as well that a team discussion is required before going into any like meeting or discussion or a dialogue. If you're having a good discussion, the coordination will be there. And for the SD, if you are doing as a marketing purpose, ideas are most important thing for a marketing thing. And we discussed a lot, and if then we are having a dialogue, lot of ideas which just came to like all three of us, like our mind, like how our minds synced. That was the good thing to like
Can you
I feel.
mention one specific idea that just came to you in the SD? That one specific idea that, yeah.
Sure, sure. So, when the processes and everything was going on, like regarding how we are going to select the teachers, the whole thing was impromptu.
Right.
And me, Aisha, like backed up, like, or,
Right.
we came to the whole idea process that, okay, we are what me and Aisha, like, well, as I said, all our 3 hours minds got synced. So we came with a single idea.
All right. Thank you. Who would like to go in next with their reflection? Yeah, Rishabh.
it was something similar that we experienced as well. Like the whole pitch deck idea, the whole website, the whole marketing idea that came in from the testimonial marketing side, that was all coming in very naturally with the team. So I think it was a well discussed planning that we did, and through that, we could relate to some things, and I could pick up some points as well. So that was a great learning and an experience for me. Thank you.
All right, who's going next?
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll go. Yeah, Aisha, you can go.
yeah.
So yeah, I was a bit nervous. So while answering questions, I got stuck, but my team members helped me, and so that's how we showed coordination. And yeah, if we happen to implement this plan, I would take all the questions and all the suggestions into consideration.
An insight you would like to share with us?
I would the screening process. How would we screen the teachers? We came in impromptu, so yeah, I would take that process into consideration.
Right. Purnima, you can go next.
Okay, I think the team members can first go and then the co-mods can go.
Okay, I think Mohit and Mithali are left, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so in the SD, I was not expecting the questions we received. So very much of exposure around the product. And also, like during the questioning time, like when we were questioning the second team, I wanted to ask so many questions, but they were like got answered one by one in the threads only. So yeah.
Right. You get to see your own product from a different lens, right? When questions are put.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mohit, would you like to go in with your reflection?
Yeah. So what I think is basically, the way we strategize, plan the communication, right, for a brand, right? I think it's very important because uh, that's how, the target audience, is going to perceive you, right? And what I observed while this process of, SD is that communication, planning of this communication and brand positioning are very interrelated, right? These concepts are very, very interrelated. So I think, and one of the things that the questions about, how if the consumers see you just opposite of what your intent, right? How you regain that trust again? I think that question really uh, made me think, I think.
Right. Co-mods, I would request you in to go for your reflections. Purnima.
Okay, yeah, I'll go. Okay, so one question that was like in something to think about for me in the SD was when it was asked, right, that let's say while using your product, what if the customer is getting discouraged, or let's say that there is this method of trial and error, they have to do it again and again and again, right? It was for the team connect with. And I think, right, customer support can be one of the solutions, but can we, I thought that can there be more like a strategy that can focus just on this part? Because in a lot of products this happens, right, that the customers get discouraged by the product because of something, because of some experiences that they have with the product. So how can we tackle that? Just something that tackles that specific thing. So,
And I think training and learning and development, research and development departments are the ones who can essentially focus on those aspects. So that's a different point to bring in. Thank you, Purnima. Yes, Amida.
Yeah, I love this Socratic dialogue, first of all, because again, drawing a parallel between Socratic dialogues and brand positioning in general, right? You don't want to go off on tangents if you ask the right questions and you know what exactly is the expectation. So I think we kind of stuck to those kind of questions, which was great. And all these points about what ifs that were brought up, right? What if your customer is getting discouraged? What if you are not able to communicate the value that you were planning to communicate? How can an actual business solve those problems in a fast, effective way and not lose out on time or money? So all these strategies that we thought of around it, all those ideas that came up, those were like great insights, right? And I think it was good that we had that direction and the correct set of questions in mind, because that also like helped us understand if we're creating the correct kind of perception instead of just like, you know, trying out random ideas, not knowing whether it will help and be perceived correctly or not.
Absolutely, that's right. Um, so, I mean, my reflection would be that coming from, learning about business in classes every day, I realized that there are a couple of companies that were trying to deliver very important products, very different kind of product, but they weren't accepted in the market just because they were not able to communicate. And the reason that failed, the reason why the communications failed in terms of marketing was because they didn't know what they didn't know what the core values their products, their company stands for. So I think in the both the cases, what I observed was in both cases, when we looked at our products, there was a point when we came up with when the team came up with the selection process. There was the time when we were constantly talking about how do you tell them about versatility. So it all begins from understanding your product from the core. So I think, yeah, that plays an important role in communication, would be my reflection. So thank you all of you for joining in for the SD. I hope you've had a great dialogue and learned, of course. Yeah.